at the Commission impugns the state of its corporate governance, but does not affect the conduct of the 2022 election. In view of the foregoing, we are satisfied that notwithstanding the divisions apparent between the chairperson and the 4 commissioners, IEBC carried out the verification, tallying, and declaration of results in accordance with Article 138, 3C, and 10 of the Constitution. Issue number 7, whether the declared President-elect attained 50+1 of all the votes cast in accordance with Article 138 of the Constitution. The first, second, and third petitioners averred that the first respondent did not garner 50%+1 of the total votes cast, and therefore did not meet the threshold provided by Article 138(4)(a) of the Constitution. They anchored their claims on the basis that in order to determine whether a candidate has attained 50%+1 of the votes cast, this ought to be calculated based on the total number of votes cast, excluding rejected votes. They argued that 50% of 14,353,165 votes, in their view, were the varied votes cast, which amounted to 7,176,582.77 votes. They therefore contended that by attaining 7.176141 votes, the first respondent did not meet the constitutional threshold to be declared President-elect. Supporting the claim that the first respondent did not meet the 50+1 constitutional threshold was the 6th petitioner. His contention was founded on the backdrop of a press briefing issued by the chairperson of IEBC after the official closure of voting on 9th August 2022. According to the 6th petitioner, the chairperson of IEBC announced that the voter turnout was 65.4% of the total number of registered votes based on the verification of the KIMS kits which were functional during the process of voting. In addition, the 6th petitioner urged that the voter turnout of 65.4% did not include some 238 polling stations where the KIMS kit had malfunctioned, necessitating use of the manual register. It was therefore urged that the minimum number of votes cast could not be less than 14,466,779. Additionally, that this number was bound to increase once the number of votes from the areas that use the manual register were included. The 6th petitioner further claimed that a summation of the minimum number of votes cast and untallied manual votes would represent the actual voter turnout. In challenging the declaration made by the chairperson of IEBC, the 6th petitioner averred that the final tally, published in Form 34C, only accounted for 14,326,641 votes cast, including some 113,614 rejected ballots. The 6th petitioner contended that this tally did not factor in some 140,138 votes cast using the manual register. The 6th petitioner computed this number by subtracting 14,326,641 declared votes cast from 14,466,779 779 generated by the sixth petitioner as representing 65.4% of the voter turnout. Referring to the tariffs in Form 34C, the sixth petitioner summed the number of votes cast for each candidate as follows. Raila Odinga, 6,942,193. William Ruto, 7,176,141. Wahiga Mwaura, 31,987. And George Wajakoya, 61,969, adding to a total of 14,213,027. He then added 140,138,000 arranged to be entered votes, and this yielded a total of 14,353,165 total valid votes, which the sixth petitioner used to compute the percentages garnered by each candidate as follows. William Ruto, according to him, garnered 49.9%, Raila Odinga 48.3%, Wahiga 0.22%, and Wajakoya 0.3%. It is on this basis that the sixth petitioner grounded the claim that none of the candidates met the constitutional threshold as set out in Article 138(4)(a). IEBC and its chairperson disputed the sixth petitioner's claim. They submitted that the declaration of results is based on the number of people identified as having voted on the KIMS kit and not the total persons on the voters register as arranged. They contended that the final voter turnout, comprising of the voters who were identified through the KIMS kit and those who voted manually, was 64.76% and not 65.4% as arranged by the petitioners. They urged that the announcement error by the chairperson of IEBC on 10 August 2022 was immediately clarified during the same press briefing, and evidence of this correction was provided to this court in an affidavit of the first and second respondents in Presidential Election Petition number 7 of 2022. According to IEBC and the chairperson, 14,239,862 voters were identified using the KIMS kit, while 86,889 voters were identified using the printed voter register. Therefore, the total valid votes cast were 14,213,137, while the total number of rejected ballots were 113,614, constituting 14,326,751 total votes cast. They illustrated that the first respondent garnered 7.176,141 votes against 14,213,137 total valid votes cast, yielding a percentage of 50.49 to meet the requisite constitutional threshold for a candidate to be declared president-elect. In the upshot, the percentage attained by each candidate was as follows. Raila Odinga 48.84%, William Ruto 50.48%, Wahiga Mwaura 0.22%, and George Wajakoya 0.43%.